7 years that has been introduced. In 2009, Congressman Conyers called NCOBRA up to Detroit on one of the special meetings. At the time, James Rogers III was the male co-chair, Sister Jerry was our national female co-chair, and myself, and I think Kamal, when they asked me to go up there with them. And Kanye, at that particular time, they asked me also to be the legislative commission chair of COVID. We didn't have a legislative commission chair. But Congressman Kanye said that he was ready to really push forth H.R. 40. They had a Democratic controlled House, they had a Democratic controlled Senate, and they had a Democratic president in Barack Obama. So he was ready to push forth H.R. 40. He called us up to strategize. He said that if we can get 100 co-sponsors, we can get this bill to the floor, it can get voted on, and we believe that we can get it passed. Well, shortly after we left, we came back into our respective locales and began to strategize around it. And as we began to organize the Legislative Commission to get these 100 co-sponsors, we found out that we ran into a wall with the CBC. And that wall was that Nancy Pelosi, who was then the Speaker of the House, told all the CBC members not to try to bring anything quote-unquote controversial to the floor, because it wasn't going to get on the floor, so don't even push it. So at that time, many of the CBC members who had not signed on refused to sign on. CBC is the Congressional Black Caucus. They did not sign on. As a result of us finding that out, we aborted all activities around H.R. 40, the Legislative Commission did. We decided that we were going to abandon this attempt, even when the Congressional Black Caucus members were not even going to put it in. Congress himself had even backed away from his own bill based on this edict by Pelosi. And so we NCOBRA began to work primarily locally around reparations. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're doing in Chicago now. But recently, NARC was formed, the National African American Reparations Commission was formed in 2014. And they extended a position to NCOBRA to join the commission. And so I was appointed, as Jamoke stated, to represent NCOBRA. And of course, H.R. 40 was one of the first things that came up in conversation at our very first meeting. And I gave them the history that we aborted H.R. 40, the reasons why we aborted. Not only did we abort it because of Congressman Conyers' lack of support for his own legislation, but also what it was designed to do had already been done. It was designed to study whether or not, primarily, there were continuing the legacies of enslavement on present-day Africans. There's been countless scholarly articles, international edicts, international findings that assert that the injury still remains. So we didn't have to study that. And I wasn't going, as a activist of a national organization, try to rally people around to study something that already been done. It didn't make sense. So for that reason, we said we were not going to support H.R. 40. So at that conversation, Dr. Ron Daniels, who convened NARC, said, well then why don't we rewrite it? If it doesn't do what it's supposed to do, what we needed to do, if it's already been done when it's how it's designed, why don't we rewrite it? So I said, wow, that's novel. Okay, let's rewrite it. So he asked the team to come together to rewrite it. First was Dr. Ira Carruthers, who led the team to rewrite it, Dr. Joyce King, and myself. The three of us were those who were signed to rewrite it for NARC. We rewrote the document, we revised it, and we revised it around international norms. Our sister Esther talked about common language that our people can understand across this movement, this global movement. And so we were becoming more and more aware of the international language around reparations, the 5 things that she talked about. So my contribution to the rewrite was to incorporate this international language, that there should be a secession and guarantees of non-repetition. There should be restitution. There should be compensation. There should be satisfaction. There should be rehabilitation. Right. So we crafted that within this new document. The new document is titled The Commission to Study and Develop Reparation Proposals for African Americans Act. So the focus is on remedies. It's no longer just a study bill, but the focus is on remedies. And so we came out, we finally got the document rewritten. Congress accepted it with some minor changes in wording, a few edits, and it was introduced in Congress congressional session January 3rd of this year. The congressional session is 2 years. So we have from January 2017 to December 2018 to get this legislation passed, or we had to start all the work all over again. And so we started with, the strategy we had in 2009 was first to get CBC members signed on. We still need 90 to 100 co-sponsors. The first strategy was to contact all the CBC members. We thought, Congress people, et cetera, NARC, thought that we could try to get 100% CBC sponsorship.
It's about 50 now, right?
No.
26, 27.
I'll get to that.
Okay.
So initially we wanted not just to have CBC sponsored, we wanted to have original sponsors. Original sponsors are those Congress people who co-sponsored the bill at the time it was introduced. So we thought they wanted 25 original co-sponsors. I was like, I don't know about that, but we'll try. And in NCOBRA, we had 2 weeks before the bill was introduced to get original co-sponsors. I think we got about 19, 17, anywhere from 14 to 19. I don't quite remember. But it did come out introduced with a sizable number of co-sponsors standing with it at the time it was introduced. Some of them were, all of them were previous co-sponsors. So that's what we targeted, the previous co-sponsors. Some of them were CBC members, some of them were non-CBC members. So then our strategy was to get all CBC members, then go to the Progressive Caucus members, then go to the Hispanic Caucus members, and then go to the Asian Caucus members. This is called the Quad Caucuses in Washington political talk. So we thought, and we know that the numbers are there for us to get this 100 co-sponsors. However, will they co-sponsor? So we started out in January, only CBC. We said once we get 75% of CBC, then we'll move to these other caucuses. Because it would be like strange to say, we want you to sign on, and they're like, what does the CBC have to say about this? And they're not on. So we from January to March, we were able to get the number up to 22 CBC members. I think that's the total now. 26 to 27 co-sponsors. And 7 now. We just have one co-sponsor sign on Wednesday, who was a non-CBC co-sponsor. So there's 7 non-CBC co-sponsors and 21 or 20 CBC co-sponsors. We have right now, half of CBC is on and half is not. There's not been a CBC member added on in 2 months.
How was that wrong?
It depends on what the congressperson is doing. Sewell is not on. Right. And so what we want to do also come out is, you have CBC members in your location.
Yes, sir.
You should be calling them every day. You should have you can easily, in your email circle, just send out an email to everybody who you know in your congressional district and say, call it on this day. Call every Tuesday. And here's the script. I'll supply you with the script if you don't have a script. But it's the general script. I am a constituent in your district. I want you on HR 40. It's the new bill entitled to remedy the situations that we face as a people in this district. We want you on it. And you continue to do that. So that's where HR 40 is as far as national legislative strategy. We are working on that. The Legislative Commission of NCOBRA is working on that. We have some forces in D.C. who are actually going to congressional offices, visit them, so we do have some action on this. We are not getting the support from Congress. I have to tell you, and I've never been a Congress, mouthpiece. I never championed this guy where he's not supposed to be, he's putting this bill out, which is great. But if you're not pushing your own bill, if you're not doing what's not, and he's getting old too, so it's most of his staff. But if you're not getting it, if you're not helping us,
he's about 87. Oh, 88. I'm sorry.
We have to let the people know that as well. And so we're getting some type of stalling tactics
Staff.
Because again, you know, the Democratic Party is a dictatorship to African people. We live under a democratic dictatorship because the Democratic Party tells our elected officials what they can and cannot bring to the table. So
Yes.
we're not living in democracy. I don't know if anybody thought we did, but you know. But, that's just the case.
Stop it.
Even in this particular setting that we live in, there's things we can do.
Yes.
The Black is Back Coalition in April had the Black is Back Coalition in Jamoke Stadium is led by Chairman Amali Ishatelli and Chairman of the African People's Socialist Party. It was created in 2008 when it's a coalition of radical organizations. It was in response to the election of Barack Obama and the Black left abandoning the anti-imperialist, anti-capitalist struggle because there was a Black president. So how are you supposed to be anti-capitalist, anti-imperialist, but you're going to sit on the sideline because there's a Black president? So the Black is Back Coalition was formed to continue our anti-capitalist, anti-imperialist movement in America that had historically been waged by the Black left. And so our goal is self-determination. Our name of the coalition is Black is Back Coalition for Social Justice, Peace, and Reparations. And so in April we had a political candidate school, which is basically saying that since our people are so enmeshed in the electoral system, how can we engage the system for self-determination? So we came out with a 19-point platform of self-determination. We had a political candidate school for people who wanted to learn how to run for an office and how they could do that, pushing forth this platform of self-determination with reparations as the key. I was asked to present a paper or present on utilizing initiatives, ballot initiatives, and referendums to push forward reparations. Now, ballot initiative is a direct democracy tool. Now, we live in America is a electoral democracy, a representative democracy. The people elect someone to represent them. Right. Direct democracy means that the people themselves vote on every issue that faces them. So an initiative or a referendum is an opportunity for the people to vote on a particular issue. All states in America don't allow for initiatives or referendums. That's right. Illinois doesn't allow for initiatives unless it's a constitutional issue. And referendums have to be brought up by the representatives to ask the populace the question. Well, Chicago allows for what is called an advisory referendum. An advisory referendum says, okay, if you get enough signatures, we'll put this question on the ballot where the people can vote for it and then advise the elected officials what to do. So we're initiated, we just did a fundraiser, we're trying to raise $1,275 to start the campaign. It's getting the website, getting the initial petitions. We raised about $975 before I left and came here. It's been 2 weeks to raise this money. We say we didn't raise the money by this weekend, we're going to abort it. But it seems like we have the money when I get back. So that's the initial. There's another $3,000, and then there's another $20,000 that we'll need after the ballot, after the question gets on the ballot in December through March to actually run this like we're running a political campaign, like we're running someone for office. So we need radio, we need commercials, we need billboards. And we got Professor Dr. Conrad World to act as our fundraising chair once we get to that point. Because he know all the black folks in Chicago with money. So we're going to utilize
You know how to get it out.
that's right, you know how to get it out. And so if we get to the point, like when I get back, we'll have the money to start the campaign. We have roughly 4 months to get 60,000 signatures. And then at that time, then once it gets on the ballot, then we have to push it so that people come out to the polls and vote on it. But it simply asks the question, should corporations have to pay for their crimes?
Yes.
That's the title. Should corporations have to pay for their crimes? And then the summary is, there's numerous studies as well as international norms that indicate that people after descent are still injured from the crimes of enslavement and segregation. Should corporations, should the Chicago Slavery Disclosure Ordinance be amended to not only require that they disclose, but they also contribute to an economic enhancement fund for the people who have to descend in the city. That's the question, right? And we want to put that on the ballot to the people.
That's right.
So that's one way that we can actually use the electoral system to push for some form of remedy for our people. But not only does it, there's about 20 cities in America that have slavery soldiers ordinance. So Chicago would be a catalyst for us engaging this nationwide. And then there's states also that we can put it forth before the whole state population. But definitely in front of cities that have large African populations who also have a slavery disclosure ordinance. But we can, this is one way that we take back our power if you believe in the voting system, because voting for elected officials, for representatives, has given the people no power. It has been transferred into power for the people. And so the referendum and initiative is a way to empower us, get back our power, but also, and specifically, to do it around the issue of reparations. It's my presentation.
Great job.
And one final thing, I'm sorry. At the candidate school, Charles Barron, who's an assemblyman in New York, after he left the candidate school, he went to New York, got with some other assemblymen, and he also initiated a New York state slavery, not slavery disclosure, but a commission to study and develop reparation proposals for Africans in the state of New York, crafting it after the language of H.R. 40 and mandating that 3 members of the commission come from NCOBRA.
All right.
That's it. That's you.
We ask a question.
Should we wait and just hear from the other two panelists and then just ask your questions and then we can get recommendations?
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah, write the question down.
Is that good?
Charles Barron.
B-A-R-R-O-N.
We're going to hear from the brother who needs no introduction now, Brother Jamoke, followed by Brother Kamal.
All right.
And he's going to be kind of brief.
When I say conversation, you say reparations. Conversation.
Reparations.
Conversation.
Reparations.
Conversation.
Reparations.
All right. Turn to your neighbor and tell
this is
them
church.
briefly why reparations is important to you. One sentence.
I can't do it.
Repair.
All right.
Repair.
Thank you. You just had your reparations conversation. So conversation reparations is a national initiative of NCOBRA. We launched it in 2014, at the end of 2014. And the reason why we launched it in 2014 is because for years, matter of fact, it was here in Dallas, in 2009, I was saying that 2015 is a critical year, people, and it's a critical year because it's the 150th anniversary of 40 Acres and a Mule. It's the 150th anniversary of the end of the Civil War. It's the 150th anniversary of the Juneteenth. And all of those dates lined up in 1865, it's the 150th anniversary. So we could, as a reparations organization, people are going to be talking about these historical dates, and there's going to be commemorations, there's going to be proclamations, there's going to be all this kind of stuff. We could use that opportunity to have the narrative be slavery may have ended 150 years ago, but it really didn't end and reparations wasn't paid. So here's the opportunity, and I said it, I predicted this, I said from the President of the United States, that was in 2009, so from the President of the United States down to governors to different organizations are going to all be talking about these milestones. And there's some other milestones as I begin to do some research as a historian. It was the 50th anniversary of the Voting Rights Act. It was the 50th anniversary of the Watts Riots. It was many other. It was the 30th anniversary of MOVE. So I put together a document that had all of these key anniversary dates. And again, the idea was that we could use these anniversary dates and organize with these people to bring in the conversation of reparations. I don't think we really did a good job at that, but we put it out there. It was a challenge. I did what I did. Other people did whatever they did. The President of the United States, for the record, made a declaration on dealing with the 150th anniversary of the ending of slavery. And it had a little White House, little ceremony and all that. Some states took, I think the state of Arkansas did a whole thing where the government came out and they talked about this. So it was out there. It was Juneteenth movement. It was very big. They did a whole lot of stuff because it was the 150th anniversary. So it was what it was. So 2015 passed, and I was like, well, now what are we going to do? We just drop this idea of conversation reparations. And let me back up. So what is conversation reparations? Conversation reparations simply is getting people to talk about reparations. Just getting people to talk about reparations at all levels. Like I said, from the president down to when you at your barbershop getting your hair done, you just bring up the conversation reparations. I was at the barbecue the other day, and I watched the conversation reparations. You know, just have people engaging in this conversation because there's a power and there's an energy when people are talking about something and thinking about something and talking, and there's an energy that builds up. So this was the idea, was to build up this energy, this momentum around reparations. So we decided to continue this campaign of conversation reparations and promote it. We also know that there's a tool, social media is important, right? In terms of how we get it out to our young people. So we hashtag conversation reparations. Although some young people say that's too long, you gotta have something short. So we've been playing around with that. We're going to hashtag combo rep or something like that. I don't know. But this power of social media and hashtagging is something I explain to people is very powerful. And so for us, I know we're getting a little older, but if you're on Facebook and you just post anything about reparations, we should start this today. Continue this today. We started in 2014. But if you post a picture about this conference, just put hashtag conversation reparations. And so I was thinking about maybe we need to have a day or time, so this is a recommendation. So I'm suggesting Friday at noon, every Friday at noon, you post something about reparations. A reparations quote. We'll send out information for you to use. I've been collecting reparations quotes, and there's so many different things you can post about reparations book, or reparations song, and on that note, I always forget it, so my commercial. All right. So, on that note, we put together this CD. This is a CD of snippets of people talking about reparations. And I wanted to show the breadth of people talking about reparations, and oftentimes, reparations movement is trying to be boxed in as this black nationalist thing or this radical thing. Good. So we got Martin Luther King talking about reparations, not just the check, but other quotes of him talking about reparations. We have Jesse Jackson talking about reparations. Matter of fact, I was at the NARC meeting one time. I got there's a full video on YouTube, but we just took a little snippet. Matter of fact, he says that the challenge with reparations is that we don't want to talk about it. Mm-hmm. He said that white people don't want to talk about it because of the guilt. Right. And black people don't want to talk about it because they think it's never going to happen. But we got to talk about it. Conversation reparations. That quote is on here. Mr. Farrakhan talking about reparations. Queen Mother Moore talking about reparations. Tallahassee Coach being interviewed talking about reparations. The reparations, I know Cam has a certain opinion about it, but you may or may not know about reparations that was given to former incarcerated brothers in Chicago. And they called it reparations.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't. Well, it depends on how you measure it. They're going to put it in the curriculum about this period, and it's going to be taught in Chicago schools about this particular man who was over the prison system, and he tortured all these African-American brothers. The African-American brothers getting compensated for their torture, and we debate how much they're getting or not and all of that. There's going to be a monument built in Chicago, Satisfaction. So they were addressing these different issues around restoring them. This particular thing. Anyway, there's an interview, a news clip about that on here. So all that's on here and probably some more. $10 donation. So you have some ammunition to do your conversation reparations. And this was this CD. This is the second installment, Reparations Mixtape 2. And this was actually inspired by Queen Mother Dorothy, who. We were having some emails going around with some of the elders in the reparations movement, and they were talking about reparations songs. And I was kind of new to the reparations movement, and I was like, reparations songs? I heard of no reparations songs. So people started mentioning certain ones. So I took it upon myself to begin to collect them. And so what I did is we collected about 12 or 13 reparations songs, and a couple spoken word pieces on reparations. And so I always like to share with people, many people don't know that Prince did a song, Reparations. Well, actually, it's a staple singing song, When Will We Be Paid? It was done in 1969. And then he redid it in 1999. But he used it to talk about reparations at his concert. Ray Winwood talked about him going to a concert and Prince talking about reparations. At his last concert that he did in Atlanta, the first song that he sang was When Will We Be Paid? The last concert he did before he made his transition was in Atlanta. And he did that song as the first song on the lineup. So we know that it was important to him. But anyway, that's that $10 donation. We have a DVD for Imari Obadeli that's a collection of some of his speeches and also after his transition, people talking about his contributions to the movement. This is a $10 DVD put together by activists in Atlanta. And then last year we have our dear Sister Faya Toure, who has, we've been having these conversations on how do we integrate reparations more into the Selma Bridge Crossing Jubilee that happens every year, the largest civil rights annual gathering every year. And NCOBRA members from Atlanta and other NCOBRA members, Diana and others of us have been coming there on a regular basis. And so this year I thought, like, what if people just look out in the camera, just look out in the field, everybody holding the reparations poster right here. But we didn't quite get it as effective as we thought it was going to do. But we printed 250 of these. So we would like you to consider taking one of these home. We'll give you a $5 donation for NCOBRA Atlanta chapter. And I just thought about it today, so if you want to take back, say like 10, back to your region, your chapter, we'll do them for $2 a piece.
Oh, that's sweet.
And you get 10 for $20. $30 this time.
Thank you, Brother Jamal.
All right, so now, back on the commercial. So,
What's going on with the DVD? That's what we want. We need
DVDs is still $10. Keep it real. But you know, we'll be on camera. All right, so
But we're natural
so
people.
2000. So one of the way that we launched the reparations. Conversation Reparations was that in Atlanta we have a community radio station. We're really blessed to have this community station, and it allows us to have programming that we want to have for the community. So years ago, some elders in the reparations movement, almost all of them transitioned now. Ia Fulani, Ashe, who's also in the picture. Brother Suleiman Mahdi, who helped to bring the chapter of NCOBRA to Atlanta, Ashe. And Mama Jerry Agani. So we used to do actually 12 hours, a 12-hour block of time on the radio on reparations. And we would invite people like Esther to call in and try not to have a call in at 3 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it just happened to be when it be, but we would invite people, activists from different formations, not just in NCOBRA, to call in and contribute to the conversation reparation. We always work to have a political prison segment as a part of that show. We always work to have youth be a part of that show. I mean, 12, 13-year-olds who did a poetry, who did a reparations song, who just spoke their thoughts about reparations. So we always, these are some components of it. So we did that in December 2014, launching Conversation Reparations with that as a theme. And in 2016, we did the radio show again. And it was just kind of interesting because they changed the law at the radio station. They changed the rules and you can only do 6 hours of special programming. So we said, that's why we work for 6 hours. And now we got the internet, so now it's broadcast all over the world, right? So we kept doing this, and this started even before I got into COVID. I kept it going in Atlanta, and so we kind of did a little thing where you have to work with the radio air shifters. And so the radio air shifter that was coming on after our show, he said, go ahead and take my time. So we're going to do an 8-hour reparations show this year. So that's just how Spirit worked that out. He said, go on, keep the reparation conversation going for the next 2 hours. I can go home and I don't have to do my show, and y'all can just take the time and keep doing what y'all doing. So that worked out good. And so 2017, for several years, I've been bringing it to NCOBRA so we can try to, so it's not just Jamoke doing this out of the Atlanta chapter, but so we had a theme for National Reparations Awareness Day being Conversation Reparations, What's Your Reparations? So we had 2 or 3 events going on in the New England area, for reparations. National Reparations Awareness Day is February 25th. And so we proposed that the theme be Conversation Reparations. And so there was a Conversation Reparations event in Indianapolis. We did an 8-hour radio show. I think there was, Cam did his program in Chicago. And so we were showing that, again, a national presence. It was about 7 to 8 different.
We didn't know about it. We got left out.
Don't worry about it, we got it.
We got
We got a new talk show called Conversation Reparations.
All right.
All right.
So,
That's it.
all right, so I'm winding down.
Okay.
We got a lot of information. Keep on.
So we want. So what has been occurred? I've been in this movement actively since 1996 when the conference came to Atlanta. We call it a convention now. And to me, you know, Cam talked about legislative strategies, and we talked about different strategies for getting reparations. What I think could help to advance us more in this movement, and Esther talked about it also, and Cam did as well, is that for us to spend time on figuring out what reparations would look like specifically. Like, let's begin to put that together, the remedies. So, because then at that point, and I said it at a CDC event, when Congressman Congress was there, that once we do that, we won't even need a HR 40. We would say, this is what the African community wants and demands, and as Esther said, it's a process. We'll just start doing it.
Right.
They will catch up and give us the money or give us the laws, whatever that we need to do along the way. We begin to say, this is every motivational book I've ever read, and I've read different ones. There's one thing I've seen in common. I challenge anyone to prove me wrong. They always say 10 keys to this, 5 keys to this, or 10 ways to be successful, how to motivate, so whatever. Every motivation book I've read always has one thing that's in common: goal setting. Am I right? Goal setting. I don't know if you're talking about Les Brown or whoever you're talking about. Goal setting. And since again, Esther talked about what is our vision for people of African descent. We don't even call it reparations. Let's just say this is the 50-year plan. The Ma'at Ubuntu man. This is the 50-year plan of how we see ourselves as African people. And then we craft what we need to do to live into that. We can't do anything without a vision or a plan. We have to have where we are going. And so that's what I'm challenging the reparations movement through conversation reparations, is for us to begin to write up those ideas of how we see ourselves, what are the repairs that we need to be who we want to be: healthy, holistic, whole, sovereign, strong, powerful, revolution. We passed the revolution, we can put something else in place, right? So one of the ways that I'm suggesting that we do that, you taking notes over here, with Sister Brenda?
I think your time is up, brother.
All right.
That's the note I got.
I'm closing it down. Matter of fact, this is the last section. So I'm suggesting, though, that we do that in a very specific way. Now, I'm going to put this template out. Actually, I developed this some years ago, and I'm trying to dig through my papers and find it. I'm going to redo it. So what we would do first is identify the injury. What is it that happened? Okay, let's just take our languages. We'll take it from us. So that's the injury, right? Our culture and languages will take it. So then we propose a solution. What is the solution? That we have, I always say, I don't like to promote names, but this is the Rosetta Stone of African language. We create something similar to that so we can begin to learn our African language. We identify people of African descent, continental Africans who are living in the United States and elsewhere, that will begin to have language learning centers so that we begin to learn our languages again. And Sister, again, as to talk about how powerful language is. So that's the solution. Then the timetable. How long will it take for every person of African descent to be fluent in African language? I don't know, 1 generation, 2 generations, whatever. So we need to put a timetable on that. So I always tell people, reparations, again, is a process. We say what's happened to us over 300 or 400 years, we don't think we can undo that in a year or a week. So reparations is not going to happen like that. It's the process. And so we need to put a timetable on this. Maybe, some of these things we may say 400 years, I don't know. So the injury, identify the injury. How were we harmed? What's our proposed solution? What is the timetable? What are the organizations and resources that we have in our community that are already working on that? For example, we talk about African-centered education. We know we have ASCAC. We know we have CB, the Council of Independent Black Institutions. We have other resources in our community. Fighter Trade has done a lot of work on education, in the educational movement. We have different resources in our community that are already addressing some of these issues. So we want to identify them and have them at the forefront of the repair, right? So the injury, the solution, the timetable, what are the organizations or resources that are already addressing it, and then what's the cost? What is the projected cost for us to set this, to implement this particular repair? And one of my notes, I think I said, so, I thank you for your time. We're going to do this at 12 o'clock. Well, 12 o'clock already passed. Yeah. Before the end of the day, we want you to post something. You can take some video footage. If you're not on Facebook, send out an email, a text, a friend, something. Conversation, reparations, all right? And when I say conversation, you say reparations. Conversation.
Reparations.
Conversation.
Reparations.
Conversation.
Reparations.
Thank you very much, Brother Jamoke. Now from the man who needs very little introduction to the brother who just needs a little bit of introduction. Brother Kamal Jawanzi, diplomatic, calming, committed to the African liberation. He's probably one of the only other people, other than maybe his wife, who's been to New Hampshire. He holds a master's in community economic development. He was the treasurer of NCOBRA for a mighty long time. He's currently a historian and caretaker of the land, along with Brother Joe Epps in Hermanville, Mississippi. And he is currently our male co-chair of the Membership and Organizational Development Commission. With the reality of the sister Father Rose, Queen Tay, and Sister Yomi, I just want to shout out around the memberships of almost 200 people from Alabama. And Brother Kamal and Sister Lady C, who is the female co-chair of that Membership and Organizational Development Commission, have been dealing with that. So the next voice you'll hear is Brother Kamal.
All right. Thank you. Greetings, everyone.
Greetings.
I will be extremely brief. I'm actually standing in for Brother Bukata. You see your program. Brother Bukata was a presenter for establishing chapters, which is one of our and the major grassroots connected organizational function for NCOBRA. We pride ourselves in being grassroots connected. We pride ourselves in staying connected with the people. We pride ourselves in walking with, moving with, and making sure the people are with us. And so as a result, chapter formation and membership in chapters, which become part of the working bodies for regions, which becomes part of the working body for the national and our international work. But at the base, is the people.
Yeah, it is.
The people. That's how we get it done. So I'm going to be very clinical very quickly. In our policies and procedures manual, there's some very specific instructions about forming a chapter.
All right.
Ask each of you as members, begin to refer to the bylaws and the policy and procedures. Because there are some base laws that we do have and rules and procedures for organizing and developing this movement even further. And so with that said, just a few basic things I'll introduce, but making more importantly information to you is I'm available throughout the rest of this convention to work with any groups from anywhere who want to form a chapter. Point in case, it takes five NCOBRA members to constitute a chapter.
Woohoo.
And there's a process for that where there's a period of time where you work together, learn to work together, come back, report that success of work, and then get authorization from national and regional for official chapter status. But just five.
Just five.
And we move forward from there. There is a report, there's a chapter application, there is a checklist where not only application, but we give you a checklist to say if we've got everything covered, all the I's dotted and the T's crossed, such that we are in unity across the country about how we in fact come together and form. There is information also that gives us the perspectives around chapter work and reporting responsibilities. Most importantly, chapters are the workforce down on the ground for the regions. Regional reps. Brother Lucado is a regional rep, which is why he was chosen initially to present this information for the regions. That's our working body. Our working body connected to the people. The commissions then are our think tank working strategy sessions. And so just once again reiterating the important point, and I'm through, it's the people. It's us. It's you. That's what makes it real. That's what makes it go. That's the power of the fuel for the machine for this movement. And welcome aboard. Glad you're here, and I'll see you later.
All right, coming back to the stage, Brother Cam. So now you have your entire panelists, and what we're looking for is mainly recommendations, Brother Jamoke, and solutions to whatever challenges that we may face in order to help us organize, mobilize, and definitely be educated towards getting reparations. I see your finger.
Yeah.
Did you follow me?
I got you.
Okay. I'm gonna sit.
I just want to say, because this is being recorded, and you said the person don't need any introduction, but some people may or may not know. I am Jamoke Ifetayo. I'm serving as the national co-chair of NCOBRA. I also served prior to that as the national secretary of NCOBRA. I also serve as the male co-chair of the Atlanta chapter of NCOBRA. And I also happen to serve as the president of Provisional Government of the Republic of New Africa.
Oh, wow.
And also importantly, I created something called the Ashe Committee. Because when we talk about those different legs of the movement, Esther and Cam talked about, one I think that we don't focus on sometimes is spiritual and cultural. And so the Ashe Committee was created through the Education Commission, which I was a co-chair of the Education Commission, to focus on how we use our spirituality and culture to advance this movement, to advance our healing internally, as well as how do we advance this movement. Because when we talk about Haiti, we know there was the revolution, the armed revolution was successful because they were tapped into African spirituality. When we talk about the movement in Cuba, we know that they were successful because they were tapped into African spirituality. When we talk about one of the examples that many people don't know right here in the United States is Oyotunji village. They've been successful and still successful in beating back the oppressor because of African spirituality. So I think this thing of African spirituality is a powerful weapon and tool that we have towards our own healing and towards getting reparations.
I appreciate what's being said. So I understand that that's one of the resolutions that you're, and recommendation is spirituality. One that you're sharing with us is one of African spirituality, correct?
Through the Ashe Committee specifically.
Okay. As our sister mentioned earlier, we're a diverse people. So for some of us, and she also mentioned heaven, and for some of those who have a subscription to that. Earlier, she mentioned. So, but we're diverse people, so if we have anybody in the room who has a subscription to that, we just want them to know that you are welcome as well in this process. So again, any comments, resolutions, we would like to hear them now, or if you had any questions of our distinguished panelists, this is your turn. Father Rose.
Well, this is the, I'll be honest, y'all, I didn't really want to come here.
She's trying to be honest.
Louder.
It was up 2 nights. I turned 72 this year. And we literally got to get back to Atlanta, get on a bus with children, and take them all the way to Washington on Friday all night. But this has been very helpful. And I'm really glad I came here, even though they got me 10 miles from the hotel to the place. But I was one of the typical Negroes making all over the place. I was. But it has been extraordinary. The time I walked with her two sisters and this kind of time. And I'm going to implement. I think we've heard some solutions. It's just a matter of implementing them.
Yes, ma'am.
This conversation of reparation is very simple concept. And I really want to encourage us to make a commitment to do it at 12 o'clock. It's consistency that I want about. So thank you for that. The chapter building. You're right. When we start our chapter, we probably need to know a little more about what the rules were before we jumped out. So I want to encourage that. And you always amaze me, but I need to know that list of people who are for and against. We need to know those Congress people. Like, I didn't know, we'll be in Congressman Sewell's office. Yes, we will. We're going to be with all the black caucus Monday and Tuesday, because we're not just going to march. We intend to go to every office. We've separated into teams, and we're going to all these offices of the congressmen, plus we're going to the offices of 35 Republicans in those swing states. Unfortunately, I didn't have this information then. So I really need to know those who are for, who are against. So I don't know, you have to get it to me then. But I just want to encourage the group to listen to what all of you said. Because it's one thing to come to a conference and to just listen and be inspired. But if you're not going to go back and implement a system of what you heard, it's just another TV reality show. So again, I just want to thank you. But at some point, if y'all would give me that information. And I would like for you to call in my radio show. Another thing I want to ask you, how many people are accessible to call in? Like, I have Brother Obi call in my radio show once a week. He knows more about Africa than anybody I know. I don't know, his father was born in England, founded the Black Panther Party movement in England. Oh, yeah. Okay. But he calls in every Tuesday. And so I think if we could get a list of people who are available to do call-ins on the different radio shows, I think that's another thing. I will shut up because I have a panel at 2 o'clock and I'll talk more.
To help answer the sister's question, what the local chapter did was to construct what they call an NCOBRA Reparations Activist Toolkit, all right, to assist you and anybody who wants to deal with the reparations movement to move that movement forward. And you can see it's not thin, all right. And they worked all night, before the night, all right, to get information that we may not be able to consume in just several panels that may be presented during the weekend. So make sure that you pick this up. The ladies in the back are working very hard to that end, towards that end. So make sure that you pick this up. It gives you the tools, information that maybe will assist you as you're trying to develop chapters, regions, or what have you. All right, so make sure you pick that information up. That's all I want to say.
Where is it?
No, that's part of your.
It's being handed out. That's part of your
registration.
Yeah, it's being handed out. But make sure that you grab a copy if you didn't get one.
Dr. Kamal?
Just emphasizing this is a work in progress, continuing. It will grow and grow and grow. Add to it, submit, and also utilize.
Any other comments, concerns? Sister?
Hi, my name's Natalie.
Hi, Natalie.
I'm very honored to be here. I guess one of my recommendations is the same thing with the conversation. Because I'm a grad student at NYU right now, and I would think that some of the professors would specialize in studying reparations, but I'm having trouble connecting with anybody who studies it, and that's what I'm writing my thesis on, and I'm going to write a screenplay. That's why I came here, so I can learn from y'all directly. And I have all these white professors who don't know anything about anything. And, when I was telling one of the professor who was supposed to approve my thesis proposal, I was telling her what I wanted to study and everything. So I've had no guidance. I just had to figure it out all on my own. And she was saying, oh, you shouldn't do it on that. You focus too much on the negative. You should try doing something positive. And it was just like...
That's right.
And so I guess my recommendation is just piggybacking off yours, conversations, but infiltrating spaces where not only are people afraid to have these conversations, but they know nothing. And this is academia, and so they pride themselves on knowing so much and writing books and all these things, but don't even want me to write my thesis on it. Yeah. So just making sure we have these conversations in spaces where it's kind of not even allowed, so to speak, and making sure that I'm talking to my generation, and making sure that I'm not the only young person in this space next to me.
Stay free to line.
There are two positive professors at NYU. I'll give you their names.
Right on, sister. Right there.